Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel. It's good to have you here. Thank you for watching. I would like to say thank you for subscribing to my YouTube channel and for following the videos and for liking. We've experienced some growth lately, but I'm sure you've experienced a lot too watching me. I would like to talk from the book of Genesis chapter 16 verses 1 to 6, and I read. Now Sarah, Abraham's wife, had not been able to bear children for him, but she had an Egyptian servant named Hagar. So Sarai said to Abraham, "The Lord has prevented me from having children. Go and sleep with my servant. Perhaps I can have children through her." And Abraham agreed with Sarah's proposal. So Sarai, Abraham's wife, took Hagar, the Egyptian servant, and gave her to Abraham as a wife. This happened 10 years after Abraham had settled in the land of Canaan. So Abraham had sexual relations with Hagar and she became pregnant. But when Hagar knew she was pregnant, she began to treat her mistress, Sarah, with contempt. Then Sarah said to Abraham, "This is all your fault. I put my servant into your hands. But now that she's pregnant, she treats me with contempt. The Lord will show who is wrong, you or me." Abraham replied, "Look, she's your servant, so deal with her as you see fit." Then Sarah treated Hagar so harshly that she finally ran away. All right, so that's the portion I want to talk about today. Looking at the whole passage, it's safe to say we are looking at the danger of helping God. So we're looking at the danger of helping God. And a quick story here is that a farmer planted seeds and dug them everywhere every week, to help them grow. Instead, he destroyed them. The farmer planted seed and dug them every week to help them grow. Instead, he destroyed them. Impatience ruins many divine processes. Imagine someone planting, and instead of the person to be patient to wait for the thing to grow up, you keep going to where you've planted your seeds and you keep digging to check to see what process is happening. You will never really get anything. That's what we can liken the story of Sarah here to. God had spoken, but she was still trying to use her work to do what God has said. So I would like to put some of these things under three major points. The first is that delay tested Sarah's faith. Delay tested Sarah's faith. God promised a son, but years passed. Delay often becomes the battlefield of faith. God promised Abraham a son, but a lot of years passed. So Sarah's faith was tested through the delay. Many times God promises things and we are sure it's God that spoke, but we don't see the manifestation of the word that has been spoken. There's a tendency for you to think that these things are not from the Lord, or they are not likely to happen, or maybe there's something you should have done about it that you didn't do. And then you begin to think of what you should do, rather than asking God, who has given his word, if there's something you should do or not to do. We begin to devise means to help God. This delay often becomes the battlefield of faith. When we wait for it a long time and nothing happens, then our faith can shake. Scripture talks about delayed expectation. It actually kills hope and it makes the heart to be sick. So when hope is delayed, sometimes our heart is sick and we want to think of what can be done to salvage the situation. And the second thing is that human solutions replace divine trust. Now, when Sarah was talking to Abraham, he told him, "Go in to my maid." Even though in those days culture accepted it, God did not accept it. Culture did not forbid a man marrying more than one woman. Culture did not forbid people in those days. Culture did not forbid people marrying more than one woman, especially the men. But that didn't mean God was happy about it, and that didn't mean that God, sanctioned it or approved of such practices. So when Sarah said, "Go into my maid," she was acting out of desperation. she felt that now that I can't give a child, let this man have child, so that the voices of people all around and condemnations, accusations, people usually taunt us when the expectations are not met. They begin to taunt us, they begin to make jest, they begin to laugh at us. That was the situation with Sarah. And I'm not sure, but I think that was what happened to Sarah. She felt that, okay, at least if everybody is saying, when they want to talk about Abraham not having a son, they will always refer to the fact that, is it not the wife that he put at home there? She cannot give birth to any child, and then they would laugh about it and all of that. But at least if Abraham is able to get a child, whether I'm the one that gives her or someone else, at least if he gets a child, at least this thing would stop. Because when they look at him, they say he has a child. Of course, occasionally they may say, well, Sarah couldn't give him a child, but someone gave him a child. But many of the times, the fact that the man already has a child, at least will reduce the pressure from outsiders, and they won't have to be laughing at Sarah. So that was her intention. She just felt she could help God. She felt she could help her husband. She felt like she could silence the taunts and the voices of mockery of people all around her. But she was wrong. She was wrong. As you can see, you realize that it was what she did that eventually caused Agar to be laughing at her, which really pained her the most. Which really pained her the most. The third point is that, and when she did that, it actually showed that her trust in the Lord, was not strong enough. Yes. And of course, this is not to accuse, this is not to condemn this is not a message to judge her. In fact, she's gone already. There's nothing we can, she has lived her life. Eventually, she enjoyed, the promises of God and all. So the lessons here are actually for us. Whenever we make decisions out of pressure or out of duress, we are saying that we don't really have absolute trust in God. And we have situations that confront us where you see people make rash decisions. Just see someone rush into a relationship and rush out. People rush to go for a project, spend a lot of money to invest into something that they didn't really take their time to make a research on, because they felt that everybody is making money, day to day must blow. So whenever we resort to human solutions, yes, there's human solutions, but these solutions must come from God. And that's the only way we can be sure that we have results awaiting us. So, but when we go for solutions by our own selves, with our own calculations, especially when we know God has said something contrary to what we want to do, it is actually a sign that we have lost trust in God on that matter. And the third thing is, fleshly solutions produce conflict. Fleshly solutions produce conflict. Now, you look at that verses 4 to 6, we see how eventually Hagar became pregnant, and then she began to treat her mistress Sarah with contempt. And then Sarah began to speak. This is all your fault. I put my servant into your hand, but now she's pregnant. She treats me with contempt. The Lord will show you who is wrong, you or me. I mean, what kind of emotional blackmail is that? You are the one that gave the man. You are the one that gave your husband a woman. The man slept with the woman, got pregnant, got the woman pregnant, and now you want to begin to blame the man for it. But that is usually what happens when we go for fleshly solutions, when we try to get things done our own way. Once Hagar conceived, pride emerged, bitterness increased, relationships broke. The flesh creates temporary answers, but long-term problems. So, what are the things that we should pick as a take-home from here is that God's promises are covenant-backed. Promises are covenant-backed. In other words, whatever promises God has made, they are covenant-backed. They are already sealed. There's no going back about it, because God is the one who spoke it. It's a covenant. It's a deal. Right? And God remains faithful even when men fail. That's the second thing. God remains faithful even when men fail. Lastly, the flesh creates temporary answers, but long-term problems. So at the moment, it felt like, yes, they've gotten what they wanted and all of that. But eventually, they had a long-term problem to deal with. And of course, we all can bear witness. We usually talk about the Ishmael lineage and the Isaac lineage and what happened and transpired because of the fact that we have Ishmael born, into the family of Abraham. And people are talking about it, that the mistake Abraham made that time with Sarah is something that people are suffering for even till now. The body of Christ suffers a lot because of this our other side. So sometimes we need to, many times, in fact always, we need to be careful the decisions we make, how we make them, because there's a long-term effect of every decision that is made. And what are the take home for us? Waiting seasons test trust. Waiting seasons test trust. Human shortcuts create spiritual complications. Human shortcuts create spiritual complications, and God's timing is wiser than our impatience. God's timing is wiser than our impatience. So why don't we just let us go through the waiting season and trust the Lord? Why don't you just wait through the waiting season and trust the Lord? While we go through the waiting season and just say, Lord, I trust you. I know this may be hard, but I trust you. I know I don't know how to go about this matter, but I trust you. This is very, very, very critical to not making mistakes that are costly and that makes us pay, daily for it. I want to thank you so much for watching this session and for following us. I look forward to having you in the next episode. I would like to encourage you to subscribe to this channel, like the video, share it, and make a comment so that somebody can learn from it. See you next time. Thank you.